Agent, I respect your
I
pimping. You
below
use them
because
Halan and
you
Shay for
kept on telling the
content and then
other
send them to
ladies
the
they were
wolves. That loverboy shit is dead. We getting rich off these hoes, not the other way around.
Right, them takes is such. It's just your brain cells. I feel like they don't completely work all the way, and I'll respond to you, but I'd rather not, my nigga. Bro, I hate the idea that because I do content with people, I'm using them for content. That's so lame to me, bro. I do content with people I enjoy doing content with. Simple as that. That's not a usage of somebody, bro. Unless they're doing it against their will or against their best interest. Shut up, nigga. Fuck out of here.
Parasocial, a word that's become almost unavoidable in today's online culture. Whether you're on YouTube, Twitch, or even TikTok, you've probably seen the term pop up. And while parasocial relationships aren't new, in the past couple of years, especially with the rise of streaming, they've been amplified to an entirely new level. Today, we'll be breaking down the history behind parasocial relationships, the dangers they pose, and how creators have been affected. The concept of parasocial relationships was first introduced in the 50s, back then, when it describes how audiences felt close to TV and radio personalities, as if they were friends, people that are companions, even though the connection was entirely one sided. Examples like people who sat down to watch shows like Fat Albert or shows like Keen and Kill and have kind of like a bond with those guys, almost relating to them in a sense. Fast forward to today's digital world, and the effect has grown exponentially, especially with polished TV hosts you once saw a week. Creators are now live streaming for hours, posting daily videos, and sharing pieces of their personal lives on social media. So fans aren't just consuming entertainment, now they feel like they know the creator. And that's where the danger comes in. Parasocial relationships blur the line between fan and friend, creating an unrealistic expectation for a lot of creators. For example, look at Agent. Knowing his humor and basketball gaming content, he's built a strong community. But a lot of fans have recently been pushing this agenda with him and a lot of, girls on Twitch. For example, Cinna, Extra Emily, obviously recently this year, pushing these relationship, parasocial agendas on this guy. Like when in the past few years, like you were seeing a lot of just parasocial edits of Agent, Agent Jalon in 2023, Senna in 2024, and now we're seeing it with Extra Emily in 2025. So obviously, Agent has definitely been dealing with his fair share of parasocial relationships. And I will say, you got to give it to the guy. He's handled it pretty well. Like, he doesn't always try to address it in that sense. He tries to always make it a joke in a way, kind of putting the joke on the fans for trying to be weird in that sense, and really just kind of giving the friendly vibe. So I will give it to him on that. But someone like Jason the Ween hasn't really been the similar situation, as a lot of people and fans of Jason the Ween have definitely tried to pair him with a lot of girls, but none has been much stronger, especially in recent times, than his relationship with Sakura. Jason and Sakura kind of had this decent like friend streamer relationship when he had invited her to the streamer prom that happened earlier this year. But then it kind of just became something completely insane, where a lot of people were looking for clips of the two everywhere around streamer prom. People were starting to hashtag Jokra, and it just became a whole mess. And sooner or later, Jason's doing streams with Sakura. And to be fair, it did seem pretty regular until people started kind of taking it way too far, making everything about them, every single thing that had to do with her, they would blow it up in proportion in different people's chats. It was just becoming a whole mess. And I think it came to a point where Jason just felt, I just can't do content with her because it's just getting too much. And I kind of understand where he's coming from when it comes to just pushing her away. Do I think that they are still friends or not friends? I can't really speak on that, but I do respect him for kind of just completely pushing her away, knowing that with his fan base, it probably would get bad for her. So yeah, he's definitely experienced his fair share of content when it comes to parasocial fans and just their activities. But above all the streamers on Twitch, I'm not gonna lie, like Corey has definitely dealt with probably the worst case of parasocial relationships. So think about what I just said about Agent and Jason, and then like times that by two. But even worse, it's your own fan base. Sometimes Jason's fans would just be weird, but it never came to a point where you would just literally hurt other people for the sake of your creator. At least not in the case that it is with the samurai community. And a lot of the times, Corey has checked these guys about their weird activities and their weird personalities for the sake of someone they don't even know personally. Yes, Corey is definitely someone who is personable and someone who is very open about things that go on in his life, but nothing about anything that he does should ever give you the fact or thought that you should have to go and hurt someone or be weird or pull up to his house when he doesn't want you to, or just be strange, be a strange individual for the sake of a guy you don't even know. Like that's parasocial at its peak. And to be fair, a lot of these fans don't really know or have a good big brother figure or just someone that they can talk to about certain things, and that's where they are messed up in. But putting that all on your fellow creator that you watch is kind of crazy. And to me, I think parasocial relationships kind of teach, at least society in my opinion, that boundaries just shouldn't matter. Like that should be a thing. It's okay to support your creator, but at the end of the day, they're a creator. You are a fan. And there should be nothing more than that. You shouldn't have to feel like you need to know everything about this creator, about who they're dating, who they're not dating, like who they sleep with at night. Like if there's anything I learned from that Corey situation, just stay out of the man's business. Like it doesn't have to go that far. But other than that, I think most people should just make friends. Like genuinely make friends with real life people. Because when you don't do that and you don't have a lot of people hanging out with you, it's really hard for you to not attach yourself to people that you watch on YouTube, because they're like probably the only human you're interacting with. So like for those who are crazy parasocials and just have no life right now, please do me a favor, touch grass, you know, just look at the sky. Just touch grass, man. It's a really good thing. I've tried it before. It helped a lot. It's really helped me to just, you know, really just look at life more than just what I see on my screen. You know what I mean? So I think it's very harmful to creators, and so you guys as fans should just do yourself a favor and, you know, stop doing that, because parasocialism is really a big issue in this, you know, new era of streaming and just internet and online spheres. So I think that's probably the end of this video. I don't know really what else to say except touch grass, guys, and love creators, but don't idolize them. If you want to follow someone, like Corey said,
You want to follow somebody, follow God.